Fantastic. Stewart dropped the mark, put himself under pressure. Reed, Haywood. Can the Swans make them pay for the first of the third? They can.
If that's not the story of the day, I don't know what is. No disrespect to Stewart, but simple skill error. Sydney kick a goal. That was right at the start of the third quarter.
I thought Stewart had a bit of a shocker, actually. He gave away free kick. He panicked, often panicked when he was one-on-one with a guy like Reed, who, although he's a bright boy, I'd like to point out.
Nathan's from Bright.
Well, I live in Bright, not from Bright. He panicked with, one-on-ones, and I think that's becoming a bit of thing I'm noticing the last few weeks is that he's not dealing with that situation very well, and either needs to work on it or shift it back to the forward line.
Yeah. We'll get to the individuals. Swans win.
Give us a wrap-up, Sam.
By 7 points. Good to see us kick 16-6. Bit of a shootout.
We kicked straight. That was weird.
Sydney we know they're a good side. So I think if you said before the game we'll lose by 7 points, they'd probably go, okay, take that. But there's still, we'll get into it, but there's still some issues there that we need to sort out. They, again, I do this every week, kicked a handball, 231 kicks, 154 handballs for them, 186 kicks, 138 handballs for us. We overpossess, and I don't know, it's every week, so maybe it's part of the plan, but we just seem to put ourselves under pressure. Another week where we have more inside 50s than them by 3 and lose. Interestingly, there's been 3 games this year where a team has scored 100 points and lost. All 3 of them are Essendon.
Really? That's a good stat, Sam.
Thank you to Jace for that one, who is another admin on the page. I don't know where he got it from. That's my source.
That sounds like us, doesn't it?
This one, GWS early on, and I can't remember the other one.
It was good, though, on that, though. It's good at least to score 100 points. I know it's disappointing, but the last few weeks we've been scoring like 60s.
Been pretty poor going forward, yeah.
And I'd like to talk about later why I thought that was.
Okay, we will get to that. 120 marks for them, 70 marks for us. So, again, we're 20 under our average there. They're 28 over their average. So, I think I mentioned it, or someone actually commented a few weeks ago. It was a Melbourne game. And the wording he used was, why do we get beaten by what we know? We know Sydney play that game. I actually thought in the first half in particular, we did really well to reduce the impact on the scoreboard of their game. They got their kicks. They got that kicking game, but they didn't really get it forward at halfway cleanly. When they scored, it was from a turnover or from a long kick inside 50. It wasn't actually that pinpoint precision that got them there, or they got it out of the middle. Well, that's an interesting one. Time in front. We had 57 minutes and 49 seconds in front. They had 57 minutes and 55 seconds. They spent 6 more seconds in front than us. That's quite...
That's interesting, isn't it?
Useless stat. But
still interesting.
Nonetheless, the whole match well down on tackles. 39 to 42. Well below averages on both sides. I think that's a bit resembling of the fact it was a shootout. The other interesting one where we're going to talk about Sammy Draper later on, 28 hit-outs to 25. So Big Sammy did well in the ruck.
He rucked very well, I thought.
And around the ground.
Yeah, again, the guy only playing, I'm guessing, what, game 10 to 15? He'd be somewhere around that mark?
If that, yeah.
There's still a lot of work for him, still a long way to go in his career.
He played 9 games.
9 games. Like, that's, put it in context. 9 games. That's booger old.
It is booger old. It does say career games 9 and then 9 games in 2021, so I'm not quite sure of the accuracy of that. But he hasn't played many games.
No. He wouldn't have played much more than 9 anyway if it's wrong.
All right, so that's the game as a whole. So let's talk about that before we get on to the players.
I'd like to start off with saying that it was a good game. It was a really good game to watch. Like, it was free free flowing. It was hard to say. Skill was a bit on our side. I thought but they do like they are the most informed top 6 or 7 team at the moment, and that showed by the way they moved the ball, the way they possessed the ball. Like they got good skills, good quality club to come up against for us.
It's a good test. It was a
great test, and we get another one again next week in the Dogs.
Yes, I think you're right. It was good for us in a sense, but when you're that close, I want to win.
We all want to win, team.
Now, I think I said it to you off air. Sound like another little bit of a wank there, but
that did sound a bit of a wank. Like
we're 5 or 10 stuff ups a game away from being a decent side. There's just moments. There's so many little moments that when you watch other teams or when you watch good teams, you don't see these moments happen. Mm-hmm. So there was one.
And this could be experience. This could be quality.
I think a lot of it's just skill. So I noticed a lot where one of our players will go up for a mark, hits their hands clean, and they spill it, and then you're out of position. The opposition generally scores. That's one thing. Drop marks when the mark should be taken.
Yep.
Missed tackles is another one. We look weak.
We always seem to
a couple of times. We bump. We kind of just run into the player and let them bump off us rather than really go in for a hard tackle. I don't know what that is, whether it's strength or just... Well, I don't know what else it can be. Strength.
Could be technique, I guess.
And the other one is just basic skill errors. There was that moment where Stewart... He should never have been called to play on, in fairness. But then had Heppel as the easy handball out the side.
Missed the handball.
Kind of, I don't know, nearly missed the ball. The ball bounced in front of Heppel. It's a 2-metre handball. The ball bounced in front of Heppel, gone the other way, as that pesky overball does. Mm-hmm. And they kick a goal. And then they kick the next 2 really quickly, and they were in front. There goes our 2-goal lead we had at half time.
Yep.
It's just... It's frustrating to watch because these guys, for the most part, aren't terrible footballers. There's some good players in that team, and it's just little moments like that that really kill you. And it happened a lot yesterday where it was a poor handball, a poor kick-off half-back, a missed tackle. I was just watching the highlights then. There was one, Sydney's first goal, Merritt, who was brilliant, just bumped or sort of ran into Kennedy and didn't tackle, and Kennedy got the kick inside 50, and then they score. If that goes, if they can sort of fix up even half of them, we're probably...
Is that just an experience thing? Like, is that they learn, there becomes a point where they can't keep making those mistakes.
Well,
and they start to, your skill level gets better, they get more confidence with each other, and those mistakes start to just dissipate.
Confidence between themselves, maybe, as a team. I don't know if it can be just experience, because as I said, that was Merritt. Should have tackled, didn't tackle. Merritt's a senior player.
And he's usually a very, very good tackler too. Like
correct.
He brought down Buddy at one stage and got a free kick.
Yeah, that was good. But Heppel was another one. Heppel's kicking was pretty dreadful off half back, and he had a good game, and I'm not going to hang shit on the skipper, but a couple of kicks let him down, and it's those couple of kicks that I'm talking about that, it's a set play.
Against good opposition, you get hurt.
Yep. And of course that Stewart handball, which was awful.
I agree.
So I guess that's a weird kind of positive in that we're not too far away from maybe that being that decent side. Obviously, we're still capable of some pretty average football, as we've seen against GWS.
We're still inconsistent.
Yeah.
And that's, to me, it's just a sign of a young team, a young club. Like we still are the 3rd or 4th youngest club. And without Hooker playing last night, I imagine they would have made us even a younger average age list.
Yeah, it would have taken a couple of years off. Which is ironic because Hooker adds a couple of years on me when he plays.
Yeah. But saying that too, Sydney are, I don't know where they're on that scale, but they wouldn't be too far above us or below us.
No, they got some younger ones, but then they do have the other end with Buddy.
They got a lot more of that quality at the higher end with the guys like Heaney and Franklin and Parker and those sort of guys, Kennedy.
Yeah. There was another interesting one. I don't want to go too much into this, but Jace again, one of the other admins, made a little bit of a comparison. I don't know where he got it from. Don't know if it's his. So apologies. Essendon in 2021 against Brisbane in 2018. So Brisbane obviously came. They were okay, and then they came really good. They finished second in 2019, I think. What's interesting is there's sort of similar on win-loss ratio. A couple of big blowout losses, couple of big blowout wins. Yeah, so they've got a couple of there where they've won by 50 or more. So have we. They've got a couple where they've got absolutely belted. So have we. And then a couple of close losses as well, which has been a bit of a theme of our year. We've had a couple of close losses. So I might do a bit more into that and look at maybe Richmond of 2016 and just see where these clubs, because it happens a lot where a club comes from nowhere to be good all of a sudden. Even Geelong did it 2006 to 2007. I think 06
Western
they finished
Bulldogs.
10th. So yeah, that's an interesting one to look at.
Yep.
Anything else on the game in general? That 50 to Buddy was disgusting. I don't know
Buddy,
if you're aware. Buddy's
apparently,
nearly
I don't know
kicked
if you
1,000
heard.
goals.
Buddy's close to 1,000 goals.
And they were actually talking genuinely before the game on Fox like he could kick them yesterday. He needed 17 goals. Like, they were so disrespectful to us, Hooker.
And there was one stage where the commentators were like, "Oh, let's hope Buddy can kick a few more," and I'm like, "No, let's not."
I get it.
No.
I want Buddy to kick 1,000. He's
Exciting
been a
for
great
him,
player and one of the best we'll ever see as a forward.
Yep.
But you've got to
Agreed.
commentate with an unbiased approach,
Not
and you can't openly barrack like that.
Yep.
I would have been quite happy for us to lose by 7 points, Buddy to kick 5, and him get towards that 1,000. He was never going to kick it against us, let's be honest. But, Jesus, as commentary, you just can't.
I was happy though, at least it wasn't Eddie, because once I saw it was on Channel 7, at least I don't have to listen to Eddie today.
I do like Job's commentary. Job has some good insight. He can't articulate very well, but he's got some good insight.
I love that he kept calling Zachy Merritt and Jakey Stringer.
Yeah. It's good. There's a lot of, I get annoyed by the Cameron Lings and Richardsons and Luke Darcy's of the world, so it's nice to have an Essendon person in there.
Yep, I agree.
Yeah. The individuals. Now, the obvious one staring us in the eyeballs is Zach Merritt. We'll start with the good. Let's start with the good.
Having a stellar year, may I say, after last week's pretty ordinary effort he was pretty ordinary last week.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yep, but bounced back with a game that you could write down as one of the better games of football you'll ever see.
You are correct. So 35 touches, we're used to that. We're used to 35 touches from Zach. 2 goals, we're not used to that.
No, that's the thing that we want to see more of. That's brilliant. 13 score involvements.
Thank you.
13 score involvements. Yeah. I mean, that's
his kicking inside 50 was just
brutal
polar opposites
to
to what we've been used to the last little bit.
Yep.
He hit targets. We took
5 tackles.
Yes.
Like second most tackles in the game. Like that's a guy. 35 touches and 5 tackles.
We took 14 marks inside 50, which is above average for us. I reckon at least 3/4 of them have come from Merritt's boot.
Yep.
He just time after time hit the target inside 50. And it's over amplified because we've been so poor in that department for a few weeks now.
Yep.
But to do that, to get on the scoreboard yourself,
yep,
it's a perfect game really from him.
Oh, brilliant game. Good to see Parrish back too to playing the role that we've seen a bit of him.
Stas had 34, wasn't quite as influential
but
as...
8 centre clearances. That's what we expect from him.
8 clearances.
Yep.
Not centre.
Which was only beaten by Stringer with 9.
Jeez, Stringer. Good segue. Stringer was brilliant again. He fades in and out, but you look at his stats at the end of the game where you go 19 touches and 2 goals.
I'm happy.
Yeah. And 9 clearances.
9 clearances is the big bull. Just drags the ball out and gets it going. And I also noticed Draper was 5 clearances.
Yeah, he gets a bit of his own ball. And that's a good strength to have as a ruckman.
Yep.
It's
his mobility is his strength. His skill lets us down. Like there was who handballed it to him in the back.
Yeah.
I think it was Cox actually might have handballed, and I'm like, I'm like, you don't handball to the ruckman.
That is my thing, my quote at football. If you've ever heard a bloke yell out, "Don't handball to a ruckman," that was probably me.
Especially when he's 10 metres out of the goal square and there's a crowd around him. Like, just kick it yourself. Just boot it away. And if they mark it at 50, well, then they mark it at 50.
I'm pretty sure I've seen one of our players handball to Leuenberger back in the day, and Leuenberger turned and reversed that slowly. He had reversing beeping like a truck. I don't know what you call those beeps. I was going to say reversing lights. It's not a light. Yeah, don't handball to a ruckman. I have no ill feeling towards Draper for that goal. Don't handball to a ruckman.
It was just a disappointing. It's our brain phase that we need to
it's
sort
a
out.
complete fart. Yeah.
There's a little bit, and I noticed Redmond did that too. Panicked. Like there's still a little bit of panic in the players. Whereas a guy that never panics is Ridley. Never panics.
Mr. Pistol.
Redmond got the ball at one stage and just packed his dacks and dropped it on the boot and went straight to a Sydney player. And I went, hey, you just either need to think that through.
Yeah. I was really impressed with Lav. Obviously injured, which is a bit concerning. The play against Buddy, he got caught in a 2-on-1 against Buddy and Reed and won. Go, you good thing. Good on you.
But I thought it was brilliant the way he had a busted wing, obviously, from that half time when they crashed into Franklin. And so for the third and most of the fourth quarter, I think he went off a bit more. He just played through without the ability to lift. I think it was his left arm. I'm not sure. Up above, and he did a really great effort. Like that's the sort of commitment I love.
Yeah. There was another moment which has just come back to me too, where Buddy was leading for the ball. Heppel got in his way, and Heppel bounced. Like Heppel had a better bounce than some of these umpires.
Yep.
He didn't really. Franklin didn't take the mark, but it just that commitment. It was just. I'm surprised he got up.
Same.
Like it was a big hit from a big player.
The other guy you'd like to mention was Snelling.
I have now got a little soft spot for Snell. I think he faded a little bit as the game went on, particularly third quarter, but his first half was brilliant, and he's got a bit of an ability to sidestep, get around players, shrug off a tackle. He's a bit what they used to call Job, strong through the hips. He's got a fat ass, in other words. And his disposal was great, and he was everywhere in the first half. And for the guy we got in a mid-season draft, that's awesome. Yes, Snell was awesome.
I thought Langford was very good.
Langers was good. Shield looked good. Shield looked like he was getting a bit more confidence back.
I know you've asked me this before about Langford, but if there's anyone I pick to have a set shot,
yeah, lovely, isn't it? He kicked 3 from 7.
And he's kicked. I think he's kicked 11 straight from set shots for the year. Like,
yes, that actually did flash up, and I thought, well, now he's going to miss, and he didn't.
No, he kicked it dead straight on that one. I went because just before that I thought he doesn't miss Langers. Beautiful set shot.
Yeah, and
boom.
as soon as you think that, that's when they miss.
Yeah, that's true.
So yeah, 17 touches and 3 goals for Langers.
And again, I thought Peter Wright was good.
Yeah, missed a couple of set shots. I missed a set shot at a critical time.
Yeah, missed a set shot.
Disappointing.
Again,
I just want to go back.
For what we pay for him.
Yeah.
Every time he plays a game like that, I'm going, yeah, that's fine. Absolutely. I'm fine with that.
I want to go Dylan Shield, 22 touches and a goal. He kicked a point where he probably could have kicked a goal as well, if I was being critical. His blind turn out of the middle, I think third or fourth quarter was a thing of beauty.
Impressive, yep.
Just looks like he's getting a bit of confidence back. I'd be interested if you have easy access to a centre bounce attendance stat.
I don't, but the thing I will
last week versus
bring up,
this week.
Yeah, the thing I will bring up though, he still only played 65% game time.
Yeah, so it's a good game for him.
They're still working him through.
Yeah,
which was only, if we can segue into the negatives.
Yeah, okay.
Tip and Woody played 67% game time.
Okay, I want to go back to one more positive.
Yep. Okay.
Devon Smith, 16 touches, only one tackle again. Questionable, but 2 goals. Was thereabouts. Was putting pressure on. Didn't give away a 50. That must be a record. 2 games in a row, and we gave away 3 50s. So I mean,
yeah.
He looks like he's a bit more at home. Maybe it's a change of position. He seems to be a little bit more around the forward line now.
He seems to be moving better too. I don't know. To me too, he's chasing. He's really harassing.
Yeah. And he's definitely got a place in that side now.
Yeah.
Whereas 2 or 3 weeks ago, we were not saying that at all.
Agree.
Negatives. I want to talk about Waller last because
I've
got another little segue in mind for him.
Yep. No, fair enough. Negative plays
This
for
will be
you then?
harsh. It'll sound harsh because it is harsh. Dylan Clark did not belong on that football field in the first quarter. Got better, but was fish out of water. He was absolutely dreadful. Slow, missed tackles. He ended up kicking a goal. Like I said, he did get a little bit better as it went on.
Fox was carving him up on what looked to be the wing sort of area, and he just was chasing him and not getting anywhere near him.
For a guy playing for his future at the club, he's uncontracted. It was poor. And the first quarter was atrocious. I've never been so get him off. Like, sub him. Bring on Ham. Honestly, I was sitting there begging for Ham in the first quarter.
Oh, wasn't that bad.
Begging
for Ham?
Oh, yeah. Bacon.
Make a joke out of that, yeah.
I was really disappointed. I like Clark. I think I said in the preview I wanted to see Draper and Clark in the same side, and I'm pretty sure Draper hit Clark on a lead or something very early on, and I was like, come on. But just dreadful.
Yep. Well, the other one I want to talk about, I've read a little bit of negative press about Aaron Francis's game. Now, his hands were ordinary in the first quarter, probably first half. He couldn't mark. He looked like a guy had 4 weeks away from footy. Like he just looked a bit out of it, but he worked into a better game. Now, he didn't score a goal, or did he? Did he score a goal?
No, I didn't. He kicked a point.
But I would argue, I thought our forward line functioned better without Hooker in it because of a guy like Francis. Now, I'm not saying it was Francis, but I would probably have preferred seeing Stewart down there because of...
Well, Stewart was a bit of a liability at the other end.
Well, I would have liked... And I understand the matchups that if Francis had gone back to playing Reed, then there would have been a huge height issue. So it's still like that key defender short. And I thought about this the other day. Is it, how we were talking about how do we need a key forward or, everyone wants another key forward to cover Hooker. I wonder actually if we need a better key defender, allowing guys like Stewart and or Francis to go forward.
I don't think either of them are our options. So I'd say we probably need both at this point in time.
But to me, Francis has been a very good player. Well, not a very good, been a good player off the halfback line.
Yeah. And that's assuming he even stayed at the club.
Whereas Stewart's played some good games off the halfback line.
I think the criticism you're talking about of Francis is mostly from supporters. It's not it's not a journalist or a media kind of thing.
No. I've read a lot of sort of Twitter and
he was
stuff about.
Like you said, he was ordinary in the first quarter. His hands got a lot better. Like he started clunking some marks, and then he had a complete panic attack on a handball and just missed the football. But he got up the ground. He took some marks.
You know what he did? He ran. He moved. Yeah. He helped us up on the wing by taking marks. He helped us by getting back. Hooker does not do that. Hooker does not chase. If you watch Hooker when he's on the mark, he stands there and the guy runs off, and Hooker doesn't sometimes even move, yet alone chase him. And what I thought that it allowed our forward line to do was to be a bit more aggressive as a defensive unit, like to actually run and chase. Yep. And I don't think that they do that. Now, I know we can't go into Tip and Woody yet, but I would have thought he was the other guy that they need to pick up. Like, he just didn't do enough of that again. And I thought that the move of Hind into the forward line...
Yeah, so, don't get too far ahead of me here. If we can just stay on Francis for a second... Yep. Next week's going to be interesting because, for all intents, it looks like Lav is out.
Yeah, he'd have to be, wouldn't he, with that
his
shoulder?
Shoulder looked pretty bad. That
Francis then goes back.
Basically means Francis goes back. So you're probably going to see a change like Lav for Hooker, unless Harry's fit, which I doubt with the stress fracture.
Yeah, I don't imagine so.
Hooker's got to come back in because, again, we got no one else.
And it'll be really interesting if they don't pick Hooker and go with, say, like Josh Eyre or... Yeah, but I'm not...
I know. You can't. I reckon...
Why not, though?
I don't think we have any other option than Hooker.
But that's what I'm saying. It'll be really interesting. If they pick Hooker, I'll go, well, fair enough. But if they pick someone like a Josh Eyre or someone else, I don't know,
And the VFL didn't play, so there's no...
VFL, I'll have to have a think about, what players might be the option.
Yeah.
Or the Ruckman, what's his name?
Brian.
Brian, yeah. So, Brad, I'm wondering, if they do that, then that to me signals Hooker's
Well,
death.
that's going to be, yeah. I saw a reporter, I can't remember who, saying that Hooker was about or close to a 1-year deal. So I don't think we're going to see that.
Yeah,
but
okay, well, we'll see Hooker back next week.
We'll see how we go. The last one is Waller. Now, kicked a goal. Fair enough. Other than that, 5 touches, 1 tackle. That's it. Like, mate.
65% game time,
again,
which tells me he's injured.
Well, if you're carrying something,
67.
if you're carrying an injury, he should not be playing. Get the
Agree.
guy off the bloody... Like, your reliability if you're injured and playing like that. If you're not injured, you're not earning your spot in that side at all. Everything we love about Waller is chasing, tackles, goals, pressure.
Mm-hmm.
He kicked a goal. That was about it in that checklist. Enough is enough. Like, no one in that side is guaranteed their spot. And there should be pressure on selection. And right now, Waller's playing like a guy who has no pressure on his spot at all.
Yep.
And I have a way to fix that, but you tell me, give me your thoughts on him first.
Well, I read a few people, this is back to the Francis thing and this is, I just thought was people who personally I thought were idiots. And that'll cop some criticism. That they said that because Hooker wasn't playing, the ball, he didn't crash the packs, the ball didn't hit the ground, and therefore Waller and Perkins didn't get involved. Now, I would argue that it's been a long time since Hooker crashes packs and, he doesn't do that. I'm sorry, you must be watching another Carl Hooker, because the Carl Hooker I've been watching don't crash packs.
Yeah.
If anything, Peter Wright crashes packs.
We went inside 50 times, and we took 14 marks inside 50. Now, my maths ain't great. That's 36 times where we went inside 50 and did not take a mark. There's going to be intercepts from them. Yep. Again, not 36 of them. So the ball's on the ground in the forward line. It's a silly comment to make to say the ball's never going to hit the ground in the forward line. Of course it hit the ground in the forward line.
And my other argument there is small forwards can still mark and compete. Like, they don't just, that's not their job all the time to say, oh, hang on.
I'll just wait for the ball to come to ground.
Yeah, I'll just wait. There's 2 Sydney guys going for it. I'll just wait for the ball to come to ground. Yeah, no, you've got to sometimes get up there and jump into a pack.
Yep. And the other thing too is his goal came from a pretty soft free kick.
Yeah,
It wasn't a mark. It wasn't a good bit of play. He got a pretty
free
soft free kick and kicked the goal. But
it wasn't a free kick though.
Yeah. Now, how do we fix that? So I have a thought. I have an opinion. I have a belief.
Just give me what you got, mate.
So you touched on it already. Hind did go forward in the last quarter as a bit of something different. He has done that before, possibly last week.
Yep.
Kicked a nice goal. Now, it was a pretty basic goal as far as goals go, but it was quick. It was on the boot quickly, and it went through. He knew where the goals were. Bit of goal sense. It just worked.
Yep.
My thing, and he hasn't been great off halfback the last month or so either. So what I would want to see, if I was being harsh, Waller out, injured or omitted. Whatever. I don't want to be too harsh if the guy's injured. That's my problem.
Fair enough.
Gleeson in. Nick Hind as a forward.
Mm-hmm.
Gleeson replaces Hind on the back line. Maybe a little bit tall and you lose a bit of pace, but it just means that Redmond can be that player and then Gleeson can go and sort of do the role that Redmond's been doing. And what you get in the forward line then is a guy who's quick, has a little bit of goal sense, has played forward at St Kilda when he did play. But he will chase, he will tackle. He is bloody quick and we'll get that pressure back.
And I guess the only thing I would throw at that is that depending on the matchups and how the club sees that with the Western Bulldogs, because they're not an overly tall forward line, they've got a couple of guys down there. But I think
forwards.
Yeah, but we should be harder with if Francis and Ridley and those sort of guys, and obviously not Laverde, but possibly Redmond, maybe they should be able to do okay against those guys. But the other option I would think about seriously is Ham or Guelphy actually. And that could be your other small, like Hind could start back and Guelphy could start forward. And if that wasn't working, because they've got guys like Wakeman and a few other small forwards that have been causing a bit of trouble down there. So,
well, I guess that's the other thing. Do you have to have a genuine small forward? Because Guelphy's too big for a quote unquote small forward. So Ham, maybe not.
Is Clark the small forward?
No. The guy can't kick.
He can't. I'll give it that. But he can tackle and get the ball out of a pack.
I think. Look, to
He
me,
gives effort at least.
Yeah.
And at the moment, I reward effort.
Yeah.
I'm not rewarding no effort.
Yeah, exactly. It'll be an interesting one. So a couple more things before we wrap up here. Suggested changes I want to talk about, and then I want us to start giving a 3-2-1 for Essendon. We'll just practice for now, and then next year we can have a Sam and Nath Best and Fairest award. So we'll start off with your changes. What do you reckon?
Well, you go first because I think you've got. Yeah.
Again, I don't know if it was a bit like last week with Hooker. We kind of romanticised with him being out, and then he was out. I'm going to say Waller out, Lav out, injured, for Gleeson and Hooker.
Mm-hmm.
And I've talked about why that makes sense to me, so I won't need to go into too much detail there.
Yep. For me.
Yep.
Sorry. I really like what you're thinking. I mean, for me, if I was the coach of the club, I wouldn't pick Hooker. But if there's a 1-year deal in front of him, then yeah, you go, all right, I guess he's come back next year and then he plays. I'd go Josh Eyre or even the ruckman, Brian. I'd go down that path with 3 games to go, and I don't want to play finals. Seriously, I don't want to play finals. I'd be like, let's put these kids in for a couple of games. Look, they're going to get destroyed, and that could be horrible. But maybe we'll see something. Maybe they'll just do one little thing. Yeah. They'll take a pack mark, and you go, oh, look, there's a player.
Well, this is we did want this at the start of the year too. We wanted to see the kids play, so not the worst theory.
Yeah, I understand that probably won't happen, but that's just my belief. I'd say, why not? If he's fit, why pick Hooker?
Even us talking about dropping Waller, it may not happen. It's just a conversation that needs to be had because he's been poor for 6 weeks. Yep. So what are your changes, please, in and out?
Sorry. Oh, yeah. Got to make a decision, don't I? Okay. So I agree with Laverde is out injured, and I would probably just go with a straight swap there. Either Francis goes back again structure, or I don't mind just Gleeson and Francis gets another week forward, personally.
Okay.
That would be my choice. And then I think Tiffin Woody has to be dropped, and then they just pick a small forward.
I guess
and that's
possibly
a Ham. Probably not a Guelphy. I don't know if it's a Lockie Johnson from the VFL. Like if he gets a game, I don't think his form's been that good. Yeah.
All right.
I think it's hard because I don't know if Caldwell is due to come back in.
He wasn't meant to be far away from Shield, actually.
So if he was right to play, and I don't know if he is, then if he was right to play, he comes in and you just shuffle the team around and get Tipper out.
Yep. All right. Question without notice. Our 3-2-1, do you reckon that should be joint, or do you think that should be a 3-2-1 each?
Oh, we'd have to agree on something then, Sam.
I know. Well, that's okay. Let's do joint.
I think the three's easy. The
three's easy. Well, the three's easy.
Yeah.
It's a Brownlow, so 3 votes is best on grade. For us. Only for us. Clarification here.
We don't pick the other two. That's stupid.
Zach
that's merit.
Obviously, yep. Okay, good. We can agree on that.
Yep.
2 votes. It's actually difficult. Oh my God, I squeaked. It's actually a difficult one for me because even though Das had 34, I didn't think he was... I don't think he had a massive impact. He did have 8 clearances, though. That's probably 2 votes there.
No, I'd put him at 1 or 2. I think he played a really good game. And I'd probably throw 1 or 2 at Stringer.
Can I suggest 1 vote for Langford? 3 goals, 20 touches, and a game high. Not a game high. He had 5 marks as well.
Yeah, I thought he was really good.
7 marks. He had an equal game high 7 marks.
Yeah, I wouldn't have a problem with that either.
So we're going
4-3-2-1.
Yeah. The one's hard. So we're going Merritt, Parrish, Langford.
Yeah, all right.
Sounds good. If you disagree, I mean, you don't need any invitation, but let us know what your 3-2-1 was. Tell us we're idiots. Give us your thoughts on Waller. That's an interesting one. And Hooker. And Dogs next, round 21 now it must be. Yep, round 21 against the Dogs. We'll have the preview.
Won't be, you wouldn't assume. It's meant to be on Friday night, but that would mean a 5-day break.
Yep, and we've had that once already this year, and the AFL Players Association.
Which
got
would
a
be
bit-
interesting how they manage that, because like 5 or 10 teams played yesterday.
Well, yeah, there's going to have to be.
So you can't, none of those can play Friday night, you'd assume, because that'll be a 5-day break for some of them, unless some, I don't know. Anyway, they'll work that all out, but we'd be playing, I imagine, Saturday.
Yeah, you'd think so. Anyway, we'll see. I just choked on my words. We will see what happens there. We'll be back on Thursday night with the preview for the Dogs. Disappointing one, but good to be in and around one of the form teams in the comp.
The other comment I want to finish
Oh, okay.
with too, Sam, I forgot to, and I thought about this last night after the game, and I'm sorry to wrap this.
There goes my perfect wrap up. Thanks.
I know, and I shouldn't have. Can I take it back? And we'll just
No,
finish?
away you go. It's fine. Please share your thoughts.
We have only beaten one team in the top 8 this year, West Coast.
Yeah, that is
And that's why I don't want us to be in the 8 at the end of the year.
correct.
We do not deserve to be there. We've
We've
been good. We've been better than we expected. We're all very happy. But
and actually
in the
we've
greater
beaten
context of this
Fremantle
thing-
because Fremantle are now in the 8,
Oh well, there you go.
and we've
Yeah.
lost to Sydney by a cumulative 10 points as well. So
Yeah, I know, but it's still a loss. It's
and we
still
haven't
an
played the
L.
Dogs yet.
Yeah. So the Dogs. This is why I'm excited about playing the Dogs.
We're probably
I hope
gonna
it
get-
can be another game where we sitting here saying, "Oh, it's just 2 kicks, couple of free kicks, and a couple of mistakes, and we might have beaten them."
Yeah. All right. Good thought. Good theory. I don't think we're going to make finals anyway, but yeah, we don't want to make it.
There's a possibility we can. I've
Yeah, I
had a look
know.
at the
'Cause
numbers.
teams
Yeah.
keep losing. It's ridiculous. All right. We'll chat on Thursday night when we talk about all things Dog Land. Yeah.
Dogland?
See, we should have gone with the other wrap
Yeah, I
up
know, the
before
other
you
wrap
come
up,
back with
but-
your ladder stat.
Sorry.
Yeah. All
I
right.
feel bad now.
All right. Bye.
Bye.